Thank you, Rosemary, for giving me this idea that we have to provide some yoga for gardeners. There are so many of us out there digging into the dirt and all of the good feelings that come with that, providing food and beauty for our homes and families. This first section of this particular sequence is called, Oh, My Aching Shoulders, Hands and Wrists. Here's how we're going to start. Take your fingertips and thumb tips together, just like this. And then slide to the first knuckles. And then the second knuckles. And then the finger and thumb mounds. See that the whole hand is completely sealed, all the way down to the heel of the hand. As I hold my hands like this, you can see that the wrists are higher than the elbows. I have to release the shoulders down, away from the earlobes, and squeeze the wrists down toward the floor, which gives a delicious stretch to the wrists, to the forearms, all the way out to the elbows. And then, keeping the shoulders down, away from your earlobes, tip your fingers forward and down toward the floor. You're getting your stretch on the little finger side of the wrists, aren't you? Keep the hands sealed, don't let them peel apart. And now spin the fingers forward and then towards your chest. Just like that. And let's do that again. Fingers up. See how the wrists have lifted above the elbows? Wrist down and down and down. You might even get a feeling in the upper back around the shoulder blades as you do this. You can do it as many times as your hands call for help. Throughout the day, whatever you're doing, pause for a moment and glue the hands together and spin the fingers down and up and toward the chest to relieve the effects that gardening can have on the hands, the wrists, and the forearms. And then pull your hands apart. The second pose is to deal exclusively with wrists. Make a soft fist and bend the elbow and take the opposite hand across and stretch the skin at the back of the hand so that the hand is coiling toward the inner wrist. It feels so good on the back of the wrist, all the way up to the elbow. And then second side, soft fist, reach across, coil the hand toward the inner wrist. See how the elbow joint is bent? So that we get the maximum stretch through this area of the back of the hand, as well as the inner wrists. And then pull the hands apart. You can also practice this way with the hands, yogis. You can come and set the hands apart with the fingers pointing away from each other and draw strongly up through the inner arm to the inner shoulder. Remember to spread your fingers, spread your thumbs away from each other. You can explore to see, is it possible to turn the hands toward you and to stretch the inner wrists like that? You could stay for a few breaths in this position and then lift the hands and take the back of the hands together just like this and shake the fingers out. It'll shake away any strong stretching feelings that you might have created in the hands and wrists. From here, let's go to the shoulders. Take the right hand across and give the left shoulder a touch. Take the left arm under and hold the right shoulder. And then walk your hands around the shoulders toward your back. This stretches the upper back. And if you've been digging in the garden, the upper back might be a little bit sore. So stay here, give yourself a big hug, or if you can, and if your body permits, take the arms like that. I'm lifting the arms from the bottom elbow, lifting the top elbow. This increases the stretch through the upper arms and the upper back. Still, others may be able to take the hands towards each other like this and lift the elbows together and lift the fingers together. This is an intense stretch through the shoulders. And of course, we would do both sides. When we release this pose, we stretch out through the heels of the hands. Then we would take left arm across and right arm below and walk the hands toward the back body. Again, this is helpful, just as it is. Or, if your body permits, you could go here and let the bottom elbow lift the top elbow. Or, if your arms and shoulders permit, you could bring the hands together, lift the elbows, tip the fingers away, and you're in the maximum stretch between the shoulder blades in the upper back. Give yourself the release by stretching out through the heels of the hands to erase that stretch through the arms and shoulders. I'm going to stand now, and from the back body, show you taking the hands behind. Here, we're standing with feet together, legs together, if the body permits. If that feels a little bit wobbly, step the feet apart, as I'm showing. I'm going to stand in Tadasana and interlace the fingers right down to the heels of the hands. Here, this action of stretching the hands down beyond the tailbone helps to release the shoulders and the upper trapezius muscles down the back. Then I ease the hands away from the back body. This is my first attempt, so I'm pausing now, breathing, relaxing the shoulders, and stretching the arms a little further away. I pause, breathe, relax, and stretch. Keeping the chest lifted is important, so that as I turn sideways to you, you can see that this is not what we're looking for. Here I drop the chest forward, and I have the illusion that my arms are stretching back. But really, when I stand upright, you can see that's not true. I have to keep the chest lifted and then stretch the arms. Then I pull the hands apart, stretch down into the fingertips, and take the second interlace. That means that the other index finger comes on top of the interlace, and I repeat these actions. Down go the hands, down go the upper traps and the shoulder blades. The hands stretch away, the arms are firm through the elbows, and I'm releasing the hands away from the back body. And pulling the hands apart, I stretch down into the fingertips. We can take this a step further, yogis, interlacing the fingers and sweeping the hands to the left side of the waist, and then squeezing the elbows toward each other. This gives a stretch through the upper chest, which also might be sore from lifting and digging. Remember to sweep the hands right the way around to the right side of the waist and bring the elbows toward each other. Then stretch the hands down beside the outer borders of the legs. One more for the arms and hands involves using your wall. You'll step the forearm to the wall. The elbow is in line with the shoulder, and I'm grounding that elbow so it doesn't slide while I turn my feet to the right. This is a big stretch across the right shoulder blade. To come out of this stretch, I turn the feet forward. Then I take the left elbow to the wall, holding it in its place, and turn both feet to the left. Again, the stretch is coming across the upper back. To release, I turn the feet towards the wall. If that was very easy, and your upper back is not as sore as it might be from a lot of gardening, you could take the elbow a little closer to the center of the chest. This will increase the stretch So be careful as you step both feet to the right. I'm going to show that on the left side as well. I brought the elbow almost in line with the breastbone. I'm holding the elbow in its place and turning the feet away. To come out, turn the feet forward. And then release your stretch. Once we do these actions, we're going to now build some strength with wall push-ups. Strength, you say, when my aching back is sore? Yes, strength, so that the back can support you through your gardening activities. Here's what you're going to do. See how the hands start at the level of the low rib cage and come straight to the wall. I'm using the wall to stretch the fingers and the thumbs and get the whole circumference of the palm grounded at the wall. The elbows are once more in line with the shoulder joint. My feet are parallel to each other. And here, the whole body is moving like a single unit toward the wall and then away from the wall. You can see how the elbow slips toward the side waist, and then the arms push us away from the wall. You can do 5 to begin. Next time you practice, add another 5, so that the muscles between the side ribs, the serratus muscles, strengthen like that. Wall push-ups are very much like Chaturanga Dandasana. So they'll build the strength for you that you require through the muscles of the side ribs, through the shoulder muscles, in order to do that taxing and challenging pose. Our last pose for the upper body is simply to stretch the arms forward, to firm the elbows. Now, if the elbows and the arms are just too sore to strengthen and lengthen, you could take your belt and you could fold your belt first in half and then half again so that it's above shoulder height, something like this. And I always like to hold the buckle end of the belt in hand so it doesn't sweep around the eyes. Pull on the belt. See? The arms are straight, the elbows are straight. And then raise the belt. Look up just for a moment to see if it's level. Correct it if it's not. And then, as you exhale, lift the belt. The belt is being lifted from the sides of the rib cage. Each time I breathe out, I get a little more lift. Lifting the belt causes the whole side body to stretch upward, while the legs and the pelvis are stretching downward. And then we bring the belt forward and release the belt. This next section is, my aching back. And so we're going to take our poses to the floor. We've asked you to bring a mat, a blanket, and a belt. So you can see there are lots of things we can do with those simple props that will help you with your gardening sore body. My blanket is folded just as a nice comfort for the upper back and the neck and shoulders. I'm facing the wall. My knees are deeply bent. My feet are planted against the wall. My hands beside the hips, and I'm just sliding the tailbone under me toward the wall. Then on the elbows. This is an important moment. The pelvis is going that way. The tailbone is going that way, but the lumbar spine is stretching away from the wall. I catch my blanket, place it for the neck and the head. The knees are still bent, and I'm pushing the wall with the legs, straightening the legs. I'm ready for the next step. I embrace the right knee. This requires that the space at the top of the leg, the groins, relaxes so that the knee can come toward the chest. I'm not pulling with the muscles of the arms and shoulders. I'm relaxing and drawing the knee in. Each exhalation draws the knee toward me. Meanwhile, the left thigh is turning in and pressing down into the floor. This is called Ardha Pavanmuktasana. Half of this particular posture, which is to release the low back and the groins. Right leg goes to the wall. Oh, it feels like it could push right through the wall. And now left knee comes in, Ardha Pavanmuktasana, embracing the knee close to the chest. All the while, the right thigh is turning in and pressing down to the floor. So it's got a job to do as well. Left foot comes to the wall. I reach for my belt and bending the right knee once more, take the belt across the arch of the foot and hold the belt with straight arms. My shoulders are on the floor, but my hands are walking up the belt toward the foot. Now comes the work of straightening the leg. The heel has to reach up toward the ceiling. I'm looking at the top of the foot, bringing it parallel to the floor, and the back leg is stretching tremendously. These muscles at the back of the thigh are called the hamstring muscles. This is the thickest part of the hamstring muscles, called the belly of the hamstrings. I bring my attention right here and spread across and lengthen, all the while relaxing the groins. The leg comes to me. Then I can take the belt only in the right hand, or if you can hold the big toe, please do that. You don't need the belt. And lift the chest toward the leg. Lift the leg toward the chest. Supta Padang Gustasana. Supta means lying down. Pada is the foot and Gusta is the thumb. Lying down, thumb to foot pose, lifting the head and chest. Second side. The knee comes in, the groins are softened, the belt has come across the arch of the foot, and now I'm lifting the heel and spending some time here to lengthen the back of the leg. All the while, right thigh is actively pressing down into the floor, right foot at the wall. Then, as the leg comes to me, I lift the head, the neck, the shoulders toward the leg. Elbows are bent, leg is coming in. Head, neck, and shoulders are lifted. The abdominals are working. Then down we come. Left foot slips out to the wall. Now we're going laterally. The right leg comes in, the belt comes in place. We hold the belt close to the foot, as close as we can reach, but shoulder on the floor, please. Then the left arm extended. The left leg presses out to the wall and down to the floor as the right leg circles out to the right. See how the elbow comes to the floor? See how I can hold this belt now with the scaffolding of the elbow? But rather than tilting to the right, I can feel that happening. Maybe you can see that happening. My upper body is tilting to the right. I have to reach away from that bent leg with the abdominal muscles, reaching away from the bent leg, from the leg to the side. I bring the body into balance and stay. Now I'm pushing that belt away from me, but inside the body, reaching to the left with the inner body. Finally, with an inhalation, the leg rises, the opposite hand takes the belt, the right arm now extends. Watch that foot at the wall. See how that little toe side of the foot turns toward the base of the wall as I draw this right leg across. Now I have to scoot that left hip under me, all the while keeping the right shoulder blade on the floor, and pushing the left heel to the wall, I might roll on the back of the head and look toward the right hand. Then the head comes back to center. Big inhalation, up comes the right leg, left leg comes into its place, belt comes off the foot, foot goes to the wall, and I replace the pelvis, because all this turning sometimes causes the pelvis to sit in an unbalanced way on the floor. So I replace the pelvis. Right foot to the wall, left leg extended, hand coming close to the foot, but shoulder on the floor, please. Wide right arm. The left leg circling to the left, the elbow on the floor, about shoulder height. The right foot anchoring me at the wall, the right leg anchoring me on the floor, and the left leg extending away, but rather than tilting to the left, I have to go inside the body and extend the inner body away from that left leg, so that the pubic bone is balanced to the floor, and so is the sacrum. Then I could turn the head and look away, just to give the neck a little bit of release. When I'm ready to turn the leg upward, I bring the head back, and I reach across, take the belt in the right hand, extend the left arm, watch the foot at the wall. See how that little toe has to go to the wall? But we have to keep our contact with the wall of the right foot as the left leg comes across. I'm stretching from sit bone to heel, scooting this right hip under me, and keeping the left shoulder blade on the floor. All the while, the right foot is anchored to the wall and the head turns. Then the head comes to center. The inhalation comes, the right leg comes. I'm bending both knees, both feet come to the floor, and I'm balancing the pelvis across, like that. From here, I'll turn onto the side body. First butt, sliding the right hand under the head, turning to the side, bringing the knees up, left hand pushes down, shoulders rise, look down, inhale, come up. Setting the belt to the side. For the moment, I'm going to show standing poses at the wall. First, Vasisthasana, and then tree pose for gardeners at the wall. We remove our blankets from the mat just so there's no chance that they could trip us up. Once more, we square our mats to the wall. And then, I'm starting with my left hand at the wall, a little bit lower than shoulder height, always taking an opportunity to stretch fingers and thumbs. And then I'm stepping away from the wall. You see how the feet are joined, the legs are joined? I'm angled in toward the wall, and then stretching the right arm away from the wall. This gives an expansion across the upper chest and the upper back. And maybe, if I can tune into the energetics of this pose, I can move the energetic action from the wall to vertical, to Tadasana. Just taking this moment of pause in Tadasana. Then I'll turn my back to you. Here we have the right hand slightly lower than shoulder height. The feet step together. The top of the body reaching down toward the heels. The lumbar spine reaching up away from the top of the body. The big stretch coming across the upper back, upper chest. See how when I turn the left palm up, the left shoulder can release a little more readily downward. I keep that shoulder down and turn the palm again. And now I tune into the energetics, and sure enough, energetically I can move off the wall and into Tadasana. Now comes tree pose. And maybe before you take tree pose, you can look around your garden or around your neighborhood and decide, tree do you want to embody? Right now, the trees are spectacular. The plums, the cherries, the apple trees are at their finest. So are the magnolias, and the camellias are just finishing, except the late white ones. Have you noticed? So what tree are you, yogis? As you take your left hand to the wall and lean against the wall, Vasisthasana style, can you take that right knee forward and out to the side? Can the ankle come to the hand and the foot come to the inner thigh? And stretch the arms away. Sometimes the tree can balance on her mat, or she could keep her fingertips at the wall. Whichever your capacity, do that. Then I'm going to turn my back to you and show tree pose from the back. Hands are together, knee turns out to the side, ankle comes to hand, foot comes to the inner upper groins, arms stretch away, and then I explore, how is the balance today? Can I maintain it in this tree pose? Seems like I can. Then hands to the wall, foot comes down, balance. I was thinking about the larch in the garden. It's very tall and straight. I hope that the tree pose inspires you as well. We're going to come down onto the mat now, yogis, and we'll continue our investigation of releasing the hips and the low back after our gardening excesses. I take my blanket and have it very close to hand. My big toes are just touching. I'm sitting on my heels. My knees are spread wide, and so from these groins that we've softened and released, I lift the chest and stretch the chest forward, extending the arms one by one. Here the top of the buttock is reaching down to the sit bones. The lumbar spine is reaching toward the upper back, and I'm turning to look toward the mat. The back of the head is in line with the spine. If my arms were just too tired or too sore in this position, I'd make two soft fists and stack them like that, and take the center of the brow onto the soft fist, and just let the center of the brow, the back of the neck, the throat, relax. Now, yogis, if you find that sit bones and heels are not good close company, that's where your blanket comes in. You might fold it if it's a small gap between the heels and the sit bones, or you might roll it if the gap is a little larger. But here's how it works. If I can't sit back on the heels, I've got my blanket between the sit bones and the heels, and so now I can push back as I stretch the arms forward. You see, it has the effect of giving me the feel of this pose. This is Adho Mukha Virasana, forward Virasana, sometimes called child's pose. From here, hands on the mat, index fingers parallel, come up to all fours, remove your blanket. Bring your knees in line with your wrists. Tuck your toes forward. Sit back toward the heels. Touching, not touching is not that important at the moment. Look down toward the floor, and then let the legs unfurl. You see how deeply bent the knees are, yogis? I'm pressing the chest toward the legs at the moment, and then slowly extending the heels away and down like that. The front body is lifting onto the back body. The shoulder blades are spreading. The arms are strengthening. The legs are active. To come out of this posture, I will step the feet forward and step the hands back. Hands to the hips, inhale and come up. But yogis, some of you may find Down dog is just too much when it's done in that way. So there's a modification for you. It looks like this. Palms to the wall. At what height? This height. Do you see? It's more toward the lower rib cage. Hands are shoulder width. Fingers and thumbs stretched. I'm stepping back. My feet are separated. But all these actions, the same as the down dog I showed previously, are working. Thighs are firm and they're pressing back from the wall. Side body stretching back from the wall. Abdomen resting into the body, chest wide, shoulders wide, neck relaxed, breath soft. To come out, just look forward and stepping forward. Come on. You can do both those versions of Adho Mukha Svanasana or downward facing dog if you wish. A little bit more on the back body. This time we'll take our blanket as a kind of seating pad just to give us a little more support. And we could fold our blanket thus, and that would give us plenty of support for 2 more postures from sitting position. Take the blanket right up against the wall and have your yoga belt close to hand. And then sitting on your blanket, extend the legs forward. Always remember to remove the flesh of the buttock back toward the wall. I use my hand and I clasp the buttock flesh and tug back to the wall. Both sides. Tug back to the wall. I'm letting the legs separate a little and taking the fingertips to the floor beside the hips. I press down with the arms, lift the chest, and now I've got the wall teaching me. I can feel the cool touch of the wall across the shoulder blades, down the spine. There's a little gap there where the normal curve of the low spine curves into the body, the lumbar curve. Both sides of the sacrum are on the wall. So I know the spine is vertically aligned. I can feel just the lightest touch of the back of the head against the wall. This is Dandasana. From here, I reach behind the left knee and spreading the back of the knee, I embrace the knee close in to the body. Holding the knee helps me to keep the spine lifted. In addition to that, the abdominals are scooping into the body to keep the verticality of the spine. Then I extend the left leg. And from the back of the right knee, my fingers are doing this. They're spreading the back of the knee. The heel is coming right into the blanket. The hands are embracing the shin. There's a lift of the chest, lifting off the abdomen. There's freedom in the belly. Now, I'm going to show on this right side the next step. The knee is close to the chest, and I just drop the knee out to the side, keeping the foot aligned with the inner thigh. The knee drops down. But what do we do if the knee doesn't touch the floor, yogis? We have to support it. Maybe you have a little cushion at home, or you have a towel that you could use in your practice. Maybe you could think about putting that in your yoga kit coming to the studio too. In any case, if the knee doesn't rest on the floor, we have to support that knee. It so happens today the knee rests on the floor, as you can see. Now the next step. If you can reach that left foot with the hand, you don't need the belt. I'll show first with the belt and then without. Here I'm holding with the right arm. This is left foot. Left hand beside me. And I'm pulling a lot with the arm to draw the upper spine into the body, to lift the chest, and to turn the trunk so that the center of the chest comes toward the center of the left thigh or even beyond the thigh. If I can turn beyond the thigh, all the better. I bend the elbow forward. And then I release the strap into both hands. And elbows bending high and wide, abdomen coming into the spine, chest stretching forward. I turn the face to look down. I'm not trying to rest my face on my leg, because to do that would be to drop the head. Rather, let's keep the back of the head in line with the spine and look toward the foot and draw the chest forward. To come out of this posture, release the belt. Take the hands to the mat and walk your hands back towards you, scooping the bent knee in and extending that right knee, that right foot away from you. Draw the left leg in. We've been doing this kind of action now for some time, so this crease at the top of both legs softens a little more. From here, the left knee drops out to the side, and you can see this knee is a little more reluctant to go to the floor. Why do you suppose that is? Mostly it's about the hip. So if this should be the case, and your knee is just hovering above the floor, and you think, oh, that's because gardening, I was doing a lot using only my right side. My left side is a little bit stiff. Let me see what I can do. Take your hand to the left buttocks and broaden it away from the spine and ease your way forward on your folded blanket. And sure enough, the knee comes down. Once more, right hand beside right hip, left arm extended upward and toward the right foot. If you can clasp the foot, big toe, great. Maybe you can clasp the little toe side. Maybe you're clasping the heel. What can you do? I'll show with the belt. Belt is held in left hand. We're turning the trunk from left to right, turning so that the breastbone goes at least in line with the right thigh, or maybe beyond it. And then both hands come to the belt or to the foot, and I'm pulling with the belt to draw the upper spine in. Once the upper spine comes in, you'll feel taller. Then keep the elbows bent high and wide, lift the chest, but draw the abdomen to the spine. Lay the belly on the thigh. Stretch the chest toward the knee. If you're clasping the foot, you can hold the sides of the foot. You can hold the sides of the heel, but keep the elbows bent so you get the work of the sides of the armpits. Stretch the chest toward the top foot. Turn the face to look down and ease the trunk long along the right leg. Breathe. Soften and spread the back. And then to come out, hands to the floor. Head up. Walk the hands back. Scoop the bent knee. Stretch the legs forward. Take the belt away. Two more things to do for the sore back. The first one, Jatara Parivartasana, translates as the belly turning pose. To come onto this pose, I'm going to unfold my blanket a little. I don't need this thickness just to rest the head and the neck. So I unfold my blanket. And I stretch the tailbone toward the heels, the lumbar spine toward the upper back, and embrace both knees. Viewing this pose from the side will show that the arms extend at shoulder height, a little bit lower actually, and the knees come readily toward the chest. If they're not coming readily, just lay your hands on your front shins and soften the groins and invite the knees toward you. All the while, though, keep the tailbone on the floor. Once the knees have come close in, expand the arms. And then, as the knees snuggle into the right armpit, the head turns away, and most importantly, the belly. The knees are going to the right, but the abdomen is turning to the left. Then, I might give a little push to the knees, set the feet down, lift the hips and balance them evenly to the floor. Knees come in again,
they snuggle into the left armpit, the head turns away, and the abdomen turns away from the knees. Back comes the head, back come the knees, down go the feet, the hips settle evenly. Once more, let me show. Knees come in, knees go right, head goes left, abdomen goes left. Head comes back, knees come back, feet set down, pelvis is rebalanced. Knees to the chest, to the left, head and abdomen to the right. Back comes the head, back come the knees, feet come down, pelvis is resting. To come out of this reclining position, arm comes so that hand protects the back of the head. We turn onto the side body. See how the knees come up to protect the back? Hand comes down. We look down until the chest is vertical. The very last pose, Viparita-Karani, or legs up the wall, I'm showing in a modified way. If you have the benefit of a bolster at home, or you've made one with your blanket, rolling the blanket like this, you could set your bolster parallel to the wall, a little bit like that. You could take your belt and make a tiny loop. This tiny loop of the belt is going to come across the feet. When the legs come up the wall, yogis, it's with only enough effort to keep them on the wall. It's not like Tadasana, where the thighs are engaged and the kneecaps drawn up. To come into this posture, I'm going to set my blanket bolster to the side and my little belt to the side. I'm going to sit sideways to the wall. My back will be turned to you just for a moment. As the legs sweep up the wall, all of that stretching you did with the legs might mean that you can get your pelvis straight up against the wall with the feet lifted. If, however, the hamstrings are a bit tight, you might find that you're a little distance out from the wall. Just accept what your body is able to provide. Take your blanket bolster and place it by bending the knees, lifting the hips, place it squarely across the sacrum. That's above your tailbone and below your waist. This gives just a little lift to the hips, and if, your aching back will love the feel of this blanket across the sacrum can relax wide toward the blanket. Then I take my tiny belt loop and bend in the knees only enough that I can slip the belt over both feet. See how it comes across the arches? I don't need to hold the belt. The belt is doing its job just this way. And now the shoulders. The shoulder blades in the upper back slide under me toward the blanket. This gives a delicious lift of the sides of the chest. You can see how the sides of the chest are lifted. I close my eyes and I let the pose work on me. Maybe you have a timer in your kitchen and you could set your timer for 10 minutes and just stay in Viparita-Karani, legs up the wall, for 10 glorious minutes. So your feet, your legs, your low back take a rest from gardening. When you're ready to come out, bend your knees, lift your hips, take your bolster out, your folded rolled blanket, and set your back down onto the floor again. In a moment, you'll feel your low back releasing. When that happens, the normal curvature is there in the low back. You can bend your knees, slide the belt off the feet, come onto your side body. Coming up, prepare for Shavasana. That's the first Sanskrit word that most of us learn, Shavasana.
It's the payoff for all of the effort that you've made. What does your Shavasana look like today? I'm going to show you a suggestion, but you might have another Shavasana in mind. So please take the Shavasana that your body is calling for. Here, I have the blanket again, and this time it's folded spine-wise. And I've folded it like a pranayama blanket. In pranayama folding, we start with the selvage edge, and we fold once and once again, so that we have this soft, smooth support for the back body. When I bring my body onto this blanket, I'm going to place the lowest ribs in the back body right here against the front edge of this blanket. So the rib cage is supported. It looks like this. My belt is clinging to me. I have to set it aside. I'm on my back, as you see, and I'm feeling with my thumbs, where are those low ribs? Where's the blanket? Ah, there they are. I'm aligning the low ribs with the front edge of the blanket and stretching the spine along the blanket. But I see that my head is tilting back. That's not restful. So I take the end of my blanket and I fold it just a little, so that the curve of the neck is deliciously supported by the blanket. The head is tilted now from forehead to chin. I just take a moment and lift the head and see, is my body perpendicular to the wall? It seems so. Resting back, I expand the arms. I stretch the legs out one by one. It's a strong stretch. The legs are joined, as they might be in Tadasana. But see how the legs drop away from each other? How the inner thighs turn out? I like to take my glasses off in Shavasana so the eyes can rest. As soon as the eyes close, the mind takes its attention inward. The facial muscles release. Even the place that the mask is touching, the skin of the face softens away from the mask. The eyeballs drop deeply in. All around the eye sockets is quiet. Forehead smooth and soft. Lips lightly touching, not touching. Tongue released into the lower jaw. Throat relaxed. The sense of hearing drawn inward. All is well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. We know from the great teachers that we have the privilege of studying with, that everything is transient. Nothing is permanent. Not even this COVID-19 virus. But as we practice, our sense of ourself, our interior strength is enhanced. We're building strength to meet whatever challenges present. Take the hands onto the front body. Fold the knees one by one. Shift the body just a little to the left. Slide the right hand under the head and turn onto the right side. Eyes open or closed, whichever feels right for you.
Take whatever time you need in this position. And when you're ready to sit, press down, look down, sit up, and just take a brief moment to feel the state of mind, to feel the aching shoulders, hips, and back, to invite them to rest now from your labors. Draw the hands together, bring them straight into the heart. I bow to you, yogis. I bow to my teachers. And I bow to Dory Miller, who has helped immeasurably to create these videos. Namaste.